Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Armstrong with today's Therapeutic Talks. I have restructured or reframed Tuesday tips to be therapeutic talks simply because timing and scheduling they have now become a thing of an amenity instead of that of a luxury for me. So therefore, today, going forward, we will have therapeutic talks. Uh, there is no telling what day I will upload a video. Today will be Tuesday, of course, but there may be some done on a Monday or even a Thursday or a Wednesday. The main thing is that the information contained in the videos will be beneficial to you. Please like, subscribe, share. Thank you to everyone who does partake in the publishing of the videos in various organizations. I do appreciate you for that. Today, we want to talk about something that's been going around. It's called mindset. But I think mindset is something that needs a little deeper understanding. Um, we all have different mindsets, and in one's thinking, you may think something is important, while another person may not think that it is that important. Um, and then one may think a lot, and you may overthink and may overanalyze and over catastrophize an event that takes place in life. Again, this is something that what we call on the CBT model is called restructuring or reframing uh, errors in thinking. Because believe it or not, we do have errors in our thought processes. So, of course, I have the handy dandy iPad here. What we're going to do today, we're going to focus on four areas that I think may be of benefit to you to reframe the error in some of your thought processes. Okay. How to is the main thing. How to do it. How to do it. All right. How do you reframe the errors of thinking? Okay. Let's deep dive into this. Okay. Number one, you need to describe the situation. Describe the situation. Uh, where were you when it happened? What were you doing? Who were with you? And then what happened? Okay. This is a descriptive basis for understanding how to process those errors. Okay. Uh, and then from describing the situation, we want to go over to identifying the thoughts that you had. Okay. Identifying the thoughts that you had during the situation. Write down the thoughts that came up during the situation. Writing down things is a very important aspect of mental health. Simply because my grandmother used to say this. A lot of times it's easier to write it down than it is to speak it. And that's why when a person wants to, say for instance, get the attention of a potential mate, they write the letter. At least that's what we used to do. Write a letter. We didn't have cell phones and internet back in school, so you would write the letter or something like that, stick it in a locker. Or if there's someone that you had an issue with, you would write them a letter. Or if there's just something you wanted to express, whether good, bad, indifferent, you would write the letter. Write down the thoughts that you had during the incident or during the moment, and see if those thoughts get on paper and you have an understanding, a better understanding of how you're feeling. Identify the ones that are unhelpful. That is a major one. Identify the ones that are unhelpful. By identifying what is unhelpful to you, you're able to weed out negative thoughts. And I am a proponent that thoughts turn into actions. So you're able to weed those out, okay? And then be honest and be specific. Be honest with yourself and be specific. Okay? And then here's a good one. And this is something that we don't do often. Challenge the thought. Challenge the thought. Let's go through a few of these because this one is very important. Challenging the thought. Was my thought appropriate to the situation? Was my thought appropriate to the situation? Okay. What evidence do I have that this thought was true? The brain and the emotional system, neurological system, is a very complex body. Thoughts cannot be seen, but we see the actions of those thoughts. Therefore, was the action because of the thought? Okay? Or was there a reaction? All right? A lot of times we have to react, but reaction without thinking things through, 9 times out of 10 turns out to be something very negative. Okay? What is an alternative thought that is plausible, but also more positive and realistic to the situation? This is where we come back to reframe, honestly. To reframe, regroup, reevaluate the REs. Rethink it. Was it plausible? Was this even called for? This is something that we have to take a major thought on, okay? And then during all of that, during your challenge, repeat it. Repeat everything about it because there may be something that you have missed during this process itself, okay? And then you want to label your emotion and your behavior. How did you feel? Oftentimes we are just not in touch with how we feel. How did you feel when this was going on? And these two, labeling your emotions and behaviors and challenging the thought, those two can be recycled all the time. All the time they can be recycled. What did you want to do, try to do, or actually do when this thought arose, when the thought arisen? And then go and challenge that. See, reframing how we think is just like a picture. If a frame is falling apart, the picture is still there, but you need a new frame. Sometimes we're looking at the picture and the frame is not matching. Or we have this beautiful picture and we have this beautiful frame, but is it in the right place? We are a house within ourselves, and our thoughts are the pictures of our life. We really have to dive into making sure that what we do and what we think is actually plausible. Don't be so hasty to jump to any kind of conclusion. During driver's ed, back when I was a young fellow, I got my license right at 16 years old, October the 4th. Never will forget it. Down on East Market Street at the DMV. That's where we all used to go. I was ready to get my license. I was ready, having driven since I was about 14 and a half. And my dad said he was going to get me a car. And one thing, my dad wasn't much of a talker, but one thing he did tell me was this: before you pull off from a stoplight, take a second to look both ways. Before you pull off from the stop sign, take a second to look both ways. When that light turns green, just take a second. Make sure nobody's trying to beat the light coming from another direction that you're crossing. That's something he taught me. And now I see how prevalent that is in life. I've had some things to happen recently, and I really had to take a step back and just think, what do I do in a situation like this? I believe in taking a higher road. I'm not a vindictive person, but I'm not a doormat either. So, in taking the higher road, I decided to do some things that many thought I shouldn't even do, but I'm going to do it because I feel it's the right thing to do. I had to evaluate or reevaluate the situation. Yes, it was actually a bad situation. But you know what? I don't let any of that get me down because we rethink it. We reframe. We're only responsible for our actions, our own actions, right? Taking a moment to think, taking a moment to reframe. It won't lead you wrong. It can only lead you right. All right, folks? So reframe those errors in thinking. All right? Do what's best, and trust me, you will come out on top. Thank you, folks, for listening to Therapeutic Conversations. Have a great day. Have a great week.